three-time reigning AFC champion, defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo was asked about the importance of Chris Jones appearing at OTAs.
Yeah, he's fun. Guy's never had a bad day in his life, except game day when I don't make the right call or something. But listen, I enjoy having Chris around here. I think the other guys do too, and he's kind of handled it really good. I think he enjoys being around too. I think he gets some time with he's got his kids here and stuff. So it's been really good. It feels like in season, because he's here.
ESPN Analytics likes KC. The Chiefs have the second best chance to win the Super Bowl, only behind the team that prevented the three-peat last year in Philly. Bills, Ravens, Lions make up the next best chances, with Buffalo and Detroit still seeking a first Super Bowl win. The Lions have yet to make a Super Bowl appearance. 60th time. Maybe that's a charm. Louis Riddick, you betting against Patrick Mahomes that the Chiefs don't take a step back, or do you think they stay atop the AFC?
I do. I think they're right there. The football team's better. They improved it in every area that they needed to improve it. Look, there's just no question that, their first-round pick, Josh Simmons out of Ohio State, was the best tackle in the draft before he got injured last year in the first month of the season at Ohio State. Had he not got hurt, he would have been the first tackle taken off the board. So they killed it with him. They absolutely killed it. Jalen Moore, who they bring over from the 49ers, he's a guard tackle swing guy. So he's another guy who's going to wind up bolstering that offensive line. Remember the name. It's not up there right now, but just remember the name Brashard Smith, who's a 7th rounder out of SMU at the running back spot, who's a former wide receiver who they're going to use kind of like Jerick McKinnon. Another weapon for Patrick Mahomes. And then get to the defensive side. You heard Coach Spags talking about the fact that Chris Jones is around now, so it feels like it's in season. Well, I'll tell you what they probably also love about that. They drafted 2 defensive linemen. They drafted Ashton Gelati from Louisville, and they drafted Omar Norman Lott, a defensive tackle from Tennessee, who are really multi-dimensional pass rushers who can really benefit from the tutoring of a guy like Chris Jones. And then here's the kicker. Patrick Mahomes, as I said earlier, is pissed off. He doesn't like what people said about him at the end of last year. He cut his hair. He looks like an assassin now. He's ready to roll. Hey, look, I think they're going to be right back in it. They'll be right back in it.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs are going to be right there. You hit on a lot of the young guys that they need to come in and step up offensively, defensively. But the key is going to be that offensive line. I love the Simmons pick if he can get healthy, if he can show that he can bounce back from that torn patella. So there's a lot of question marks there, but I think all the ingredients are there to make another run. But they're going to have to deal with 2 teams that I think are pissed off even more, and that's Baltimore and that's Buffalo, because the Chiefs have been to the mountaintop. And they've won championships. But you got 2 teams in Baltimore and Buffalo that haven't been there. They haven't tasted it. They've made mistakes. And both Baltimore and Buffalo felt like they were the better team last season. So I get the Chiefs. They've retooled. They've tried to fix some of the areas. Mahomes has cut his hair. This is a question that's going to best be answered when we get to December and January, where we expect it to be Kansas City, Baltimore, and Buffalo dueling it out again.
So we got a lot of pissed off people, and we got some productive 7th-round picks on Kansas City, as Lou pointed out there. But I'll tell you one thing else.
You're going to be drafting them on your fantasy team.
You're damn right I will be, okay? And I'll tell you something else. That
Exactly.
They also have Rashee Rice back at practice today. And that is a welcome sight for a pissed-off Patrick Mahomes, because that has to bring a smile to his face, Lou. When you got a guy like Rashee Rice out there running the way he was today, looking the way he was, that has to make Patrick Mahomes feel a little bit happier, don't you think? Because he is a major asset when he's healthy.
There's no question about it. And here's the thing, right? This run of success that this team has had, this organization has had, they continue to have their coaching staff return intact.
Yeah, right.
No one tries to come and get their coordinators. So you know what? Yeah. They hit the ground running so far ahead. It really is. It's kind of like, they're like stealing. They're like going, hey, that's cool. We'll keep all of our people together, and we'll just try to retool. It's going to be a fun year in the AFC, man, because there's a lot of good football teams, a lot.
Yeah, over the last 2 seasons, Kansas City's allowed 18.2 points per game, not just the best in the NFL. Over 2 years, they're the only team below 20, so the best by some margin. Amongst active Rams currently on the roster, they got their sights set on a Super Bowl return. Didn't lose by much in Philly in the divisional round last year in the snow. LA won 10 of its last 14 games. They got down to the 13-yard line here, down 6, and then that Jalen Carter sack might have saved a go-ahead touchdown. Trade rumors then swirled around 37-year-old Matt Stafford this offseason. Ultimately, he took $20 million less to stay with the Rams on a reworked 2-year deal. Then LA signed 3-time All-Pro Davante Adams to play alongside Puka Nacua. Adams one of 4 players with 1,000 receiving yards each of the last 5 years. Nacua talked about his new running mate this week.
Davante's come in and been a great leader. Obviously somebody who's played at a super high level his whole career, and the knowledge he has is something different from what we're used to, and having somebody like Coop in that system for a long time. So it's been great to have him around, and I feel like we're learning something new every day. I think the positive impact has already been felt from Davante. From the moment he walked in, he has been willing to offer information, to have new drills, to a complete different mindset of somebody who's played in various offenses, very different schemes and stuff like that. So it's been exciting to hear from him.
Booger, that's the change atop the marquee in LA. Cooper Kupp out, Tay Adams in. How does Adams change the dynamics of this LA offense?
Well, I think they have a legitimate 1-2 punch right now, and I think he's going to take a lot of pressure off of Puka Nacua. And, you know, Davante Adams has been a number 1 his entire career, and whether you want to put him as 1A or 1B out in L.A., I think he's personally behind Nacua at 1B. Now Matthew Stafford, who's still got as good an arm talent as anybody in the National Football League, has 2 legit threats on the outside. And so now you have a more balanced offense to go along with Sean McVay and how they run the football. But so this offense, in my opinion, became one of the more unstoppable offenses in the National Football League. And I'm bullish on the Rams. I think they have the best young front 7 in football. I'll phrase that a different way. If you gave me one front 7 that I could have for the next 3 years, I'd take the Rams front 7 over anyone. When you look at those young guys they have, and there are a lot of them on rookie deals, Shefty, those guys are going to play together, they're going to grow together, and if they can stay healthy offensively, the Rams are going to be right there at the end with anybody, and I mean anybody in the NFC.
And that's an amazing statement to think about, because a year ago, we didn't know how the Rams were going to be able to place Aaron Donald. And they go in and draft a guy who can outwork him in the gym, outlift him in the gym, and Jared Verse, and then they go out in the second round and get his college teammate. And for you to say that they already have the best young front 7 in football after they lost one of the greatest defensive linemen who ever played. In fact, let me just say, Aaron Donald might be the strongest, toughest guy, because I don't want to be viewed in the category with you and Jared Verse, but they have one of the best young front 7s in football. It's amazing how far the Rams have come in such a short period of time, Bug.
And that front 7, Adam, you're talking about, 3,105 snaps amongst rookies last year on defense.